I'm here with Danny Gitakis. He is a program analyst here at BCLC. Hi, Danny.
I am.
What inspired you to pursue a career in the programming industry?
Inspiration. That's a difficult question because it's many things, whether it's a long-term career or money. But it really just comes down to its interest. It really is just that.
Having fun?
Yeah, it's computing science. It is fun as confusing as it may sound for a lot of people. Programming is problem solving. It's being creative. It's expressing your own self in the solution, and then giving that solution to somebody else. Yeah, that's pretty much what it wasn't one event that inspired me. It was just a general interest that sort of guided me into this career.
Just getting paid to do what you like to do, right?
Yeah, that's the best thing about. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Which is any good career.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so when you went to UCC, which is now TRU, they didn't provide co-op, but I know for a fact that you are a strong advocate of co-op. Why do you suggest co-op?
Wow. Co-op provides education that you can't get in the classroom, and it provides it at the same time as you are in the classroom. Relatively speaking, it doesn't happen at the exact same moment. Classroom education is very formal. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know exactly, or the instructor knows exactly what to expect of you. In the real world, and I mean real world in that you're getting paid, you're doing something just to benefit yourself, giving it to an employer or to a wider audience. There is no very formal way to do something. That is maturity. That's also a level of education that you just can't express in the classroom. So that's why I'm an advocate for. And as I mentioned, it happens at the same time. So you don't finish school, then finally get a job, but realize, wow, I don't know something, or this isn't the career I really wanted. It was fun in the classroom, but it's not fun now. Doing it at the same time is a lot better. It would be like learning how to ride a bike by reading a book. Yeah, you could graduate with an A+, but until you actually get on a bike, you're never going to learn how to ride a bike.
Right. And you're getting paid to learn. So that's
you're getting, yeah. If it's a good co-op job, you're getting paid. Yeah. It's not. People confuse co-op type education with an internship. It's similar, yes, but internship really is you go into a company and they'll just make you work like you're almost a slave to a certain degree. That's what being an intern is. Like they're granting you this privilege of being part of the company. Cooperative education is the school and the company have an agreement that you're getting something out of it. So if this is part of your education, you have to pay the school to actually be part of the co-op, and the company gets a little bit of if you will, a stipend or a spit from the government. Say, oh, we've provided this educational opportunity, we're going to give you some tax breaks or something. An internship, you might not even get paid. So co-op is something special. It's not a real advocate for.
Okay, so how long have you been working here at BCLC?
6 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, 6 years.
Okay, and in those 6 years, how much has the field that you work in changed from a non-technical point of view?
Yeah, so not like actually doing like the actual technical specific work, but the general work environment. I think it's changed in that probably in one major respect is that people who've been here for a long time are retiring or leaving, and there's newer people coming in. So people fresh out of school or just picked up a certain skill set and they're transferring from one department to another. That's pretty much it. I don't see a lot of the corporate structure changing that is forcing you to, okay, you're not doing this job, you're going to do that job. That's almost a personal decision. But it's really just the people change more than it's the same thing. Technology changes and certain things move from one to another, but it's pretty much the same job. Programming is programming. It's just who you work with and who's telling you to do something.
And on a daily basis, what do you do? What do you work on? What do you provide?
That's an excellent question because I don't know if I could even answer that to my boss. Most of the work is one of three things. One will be actually we have a project, we have the requirements, so we have to write the software that meets the requirements. We have times that we have a schedule that it has to be done on. There's testing times. So it's very laid out. Now, I did mention formal education. It's not formal in the sense of you're being graded on work, and the solution is known ahead of time. We actually have requirements that your software must do this, but we don't know how it's going to end up doing it. That's your job to figure out the solution. So that's one part. The other part is the process of getting to those requirements, getting those solutions, sitting down and doing the design, and that's the art of computing, if you will. How do I get this box, which is just a bunch of wires, to do it? And that's not sitting down at a keyboard and typing messages. Contemplating all the various tools and technologies and all the software that's available. How can you get that together? How do you get that as a design? And the third part, just screwing around.
Having a good time.
Yeah. No great thing has ever been done by somebody sitting down for a long time and working through the problem. You need accidents. You need time to just mess around with it, to ask the questions, what if? So that there's that component. So on a day-to-day basis, it's three variables, and it's like how much of one or another. Currently, right now, today, working on a fairly large project, and it's a fairly tight timeline. So most of my day is taken sitting at a computer and just writing code and talking with my coworkers to make sure that my solution is jiving with their solution, so that we're not going in two different directions. But we all have a design that we did like months ago that will work.
Do you ever get like projects at the same time and you have to balance them, or is it just strictly like you get one project and this is the date it's due?
It's a bit of both. Some around here, because BCLC is such a large company, we all work on you got a couple of weeks. Why don't you finish in a couple of weeks? A lot of the stuff that I work on week number 1 for me is week 12 for somebody else. So they've done a whole bunch of work. And then my week 12 is week 1 for someone else. The quality assurance department after I'm done, theirs is done. So the timeline is fairly laid down because there's coordination. Technologies have to be worked out. And if some of the servers, when your software has to be up to stuff and ready to go. Other times, we don't know if something's going to run. So let's just do it, and when it's done, it's done. Those are the what-if projects. If somebody's willing to put time and money into the possibility of something working, once it does work, then it actually goes through the whole proper chain of doing the proper analysis and making sure it goes over. We don't like to waste money, but we're willing to try something.
Okay. You also said that like when you somebody's week 12 and it's your week 1, is it like it's gone from one step to you're the next step of testing and stuff?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it.
Okay.
It's going from one phase to the other, and that's all. We've got project managers and team leads who are coordinating that outside of us. And a lot of the times in a project, depending on the level, the programmer analyst like myself will take on that role. So we sort of step away from the programming and we spend time on that design, making sure that everybody who needs to know knows it.
So like the efficiency of the program and like the layout kind of?
I think the layout.
Okay.
We sort of, when we mentioned efficiency, although we like to try and make everything as efficient as possible, sometimes we step back from that and go, the time and effort that would take to make sure that something's the most optimal and efficient that it is, takes away from actually getting the job done. So we have like tolerance levels, like your software must be able to finish this in X amount of time. If you can make it work in half the time, that's great, but it's not important.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to make it work.
It's gotta work.
It's just gotta work. You got 3 weeks to work on it, just make the thing work. But then the layer is part of that, like making sure that all the some software that we have, 5 or 6 pieces, other stuff like hundreds.